In the Louisiana State Archives, the marriage certificate endures, brittle and yellowed, displaying the names of Jeremiah Aldrich and Celeste, noted merely as property under his signature. The disturbing element of this document isn't solely the horrific union between a plantation owner and his enslaved cook, but the 13 enigmatic deaths that ensued in the months following their wedding ceremony in March 1854. Newspapers from that period, meticulously kept in private collections, suggest a conspiracy so cruel and elaborate that officials suppressed the inquiry to shield some of Louisiana's leading families. The reality of this coerced marriage uncovers a network of systematic torture, revenge, and betrayal that stunned even the hardened antebellum South. Before delving further into the tale of Jeremiah Aldrich and the infernal destiny awaiting him at Willowbrook Plantation, be sure to subscribe to our channel and share in the comments which state you're tuning in from. Now, allow me to transport you to an era where honor was paramount, and shattered loyalty could ruin a man in manners far more dreadful than death itself. The circumstances leading to that profane marriage originated 15 years prior in the shadowy depths of the Mississippi Delta, where riches were forged from human flesh and blood-stained profit streamed as abundantly as the murky river. Jeremiah Aldrich wasn't descended from the plantation elite that shaped Louisiana society during the 1840s. As the offspring of a bankrupt tobacco farmer from Kentucky, he reached New Orleans in 1839 armed only with fierce ambition and a readiness to pursue ventures that more refined gentlemen avoided entirely. The slave trade, though lawful, bore a societal taint among the venerable Creole lineages, who clung to the illusion that their fortune stemmed purely from cotton and sugar, not the organized commerce in human lives. It was during the stifling summer of 1840 that Aldrich forged his alliance with Marcus Deveau and Samuel Rochelle, two individuals whose desperation equaled his own merciless drive. Deveau, the junior heir of a fading sugar magnate, required funds to rescue his family's deteriorating estate from lenders. Rochelle, once a ship captain ruined by yellow fever and poor ventures, held crucial insights into illicit slave pathways from the Caribbean islands and Cuba. Jointly, they founded what they termed the Delta Trading Company. Based in a warehouse on New Orleans' fringes, where enforcement waned and origins of goods went unquestioned, the enterprise exceeded their boldest expectations in profitability. While lawful slave merchants handled documented assets with health assurances and clear ownership, Aldrich's venture focused on what they delicately labeled recovery services. They acquired escaped enslaved individuals from defunct plantations, procured abducted free blacks from dishonest bounty hunters, and most profitably, imported fresh captives from forbidden ships that defied the ban on transatlantic slave commerce. Margins soared due to negligible expenses. They disregarded the welfare, shelter, or fundamental dignity of their stock. For 3 years, the collaboration thrived in New Orleans' underbelly. Profits were channeled into valid enterprises, purchasing legitimacy alongside land. Deveau preserved and enlarged his family's plantation into one of St. Charles Parish's top sugar producers. Rochelle acquired riverboat fleets and rose as an esteemed shipping tycoon. Aldrich secured Willowbrook Plantation himself, a humble yet lucrative cotton venture roughly 40 miles upstream from New Orleans, featuring a stately colonial home that proclaimed his entry into Louisiana's planting gentry. Yet prosperity fostered recklessness, and recklessness drew scrutiny from influential figures. In the spring of 1843, reports arrived that federal agents were probing unlawful slave trading along the Gulf Coast. Inquiries were being made about their dealings, records of shipments examined, and alarmingly, some of their past stock, who had fled or secured liberty elsewhere, were being questioned. The trio convened urgently in Aldrich's fresh study at Willowbrook, amid leather volumes he never perused and portraits of forebears not his kin. The atmosphere was stifling as each grasped that their realm of human suffering teetered on collapse. Deveau, ever the most anxious, proposed disbanding the alliance at once and obliterating all transaction logs. Rochelle, drawing on his mariner's practicality, advocated a cautious tactic, relocating assets abroad and biding time until the probe faded. But Aldrich harbored another idea, one exposing his profound ethical void. He had already resolved to dispatch his associates and seize their joint holdings. Yet he required a scheme that deflected blame from him while muting the pair who could dismantle him. The answer dawned with the stark lucidity of utter malice. He would slay both and orchestrate the tableau to imply mutual homicide over funds. With Devo and Rochelle gone, he'd emerge as the lone survivor of a regrettable business clash, able to erase traces of their illicit deeds while claiming their amassed riches entirely. The killings unfolded on a muggy June evening in 1843 at the warehouse that had housed their operations for 3 years. Aldrich scheduled the gathering under the guise of devising their withdrawal from slave trading. He selected the site deliberately, the district emptied after dusk, and the structure faced demolition soon amid port expansions. Aldrich came ahead, hiding a primed pistol in his overcoat and a keen skinning blade in his footwear. His scheme was savagely straightforward: fire upon Devo initially, then fabricate a blade duel with Rochelle ending in both fatalities, allowing him to plead self-preservation. He had readied bogus observers, 3 dock hires who would attest to Devo and Rochelle's heated dispute earlier over vanished funds. Upon their arrival, his partners encountered Aldrich at their standard planning spot, with fine whiskey and 3 tumblers amid ledgers and manifests. Discourse started routinely, Devo outlining legal perils, Rochelle sketching asset shifts to Havana banks beyond U.S. grasp. As night deepened and liquor loosened tongues, Aldrich guided talk toward their hoarded wealth, particularly the sites of concealed cash in New Orleans banks and hideaways. Rochelle first detected anomaly. The veteran seafarer's senses, sharpened by perilous seas and hostile harbors, noted shifts in Aldrich's bearing. His gaze avoided theirs. His fingers hovered near his pocket. His tone strained when probing account details and safeguards. When Rochelle proposed delaying for lawyers the next day, Aldrich sensed his chance narrowing. The brutality ignited abruptly. Aldrich brandished his firearm and blasted Devo's chest before reaction. The report thundered through the vacant space, Devo toppling rearward, crimson blooming on his linen as betrayal widened his gaze. Yet Rochelle, though startled, resisted more fiercely than expected. The ex-captain flipped the sturdy table and charged with shattered whiskey glass, carving a profound laceration across Aldrich's left cheek, a lasting mark. The ensuing brawl stretched nearly 10 minutes, exceeding Aldrich's timeline. Rochelle battled with the rage of one comprehending the betrayal and defying quiet demise. They shattered document crates, strewn records, smeared blood on surfaces in their knife struggle. Ultimately, Rochelle's years betrayed him. At 53, he lacked the youth's vigor. Aldrich plunged the blade into Rochelle's abdomen, wrenching upward to his core, as the sailor scratched his neck desperately. Yet in death, Rochelle uttered words to plague Aldrich eternally. "My son knows all. He'll seek you. In time, he'll exact payment." Aldrich then dismissed them as dying delusions. Unaware that Marcus Devo's sibling, Philippe, had covertly chronicled their crimes, or that Samuel Rochelle's 17-year-old Henri held exhaustive details of every deal, contact, and offense by the Delta Trading Company over 3 years. Aldrich devoted the next 4 hours to meticulously staging the scene for his narrative. He posed Devo as if drawing a weapon when shot, placed Rochelle nearby clutching a bloody knife with wounds implying their mutual fight. He scattered currency to hint at monetary quarrel, wrecked the safe for robbery pretense, and self-inflicted arm and hand cuts to bolster his bystander defense. The planted witnesses delivered as compensated, affirming to authorities the prior fierce argument over funds. A venal dock laborer reported warehouse shouts, gunfire, and scuffle noises at the time. Critically, Aldrich crafted a plausible rationale for his attendance, arriving to arbitrate, only to enter lethal fray and barely survive. New Orleans lawmen, burdened by graver offenses and keen to resolve a case of 3 semi-reputable merchants, endorsed Aldrich's account with scant scrutiny. The verdict, Devo and Rochelle mutually slain in business strife, Aldrich narrowly spared. Within days, demolition erased residual proofs of illicit trades. With partners deceased and assets claimable, Aldrich swiftly amalgamated his gains, posing as survivor of a valid shipping firm with forged pacts transferring shares upon death. Banks wary of Trio's cash dealings embraced a lone planter's word with cotton success. In ensuing months, Aldrich drained every vault, deposit, and cash of his slain allies. He gauged the haul at almost $40,000, over $1 million today. Crucially, he had erased the sole links to Delta Trading's crimes, liberating him to reshape as Louisiana's esteemed citizen. Yet Aldrich erred gravely. Amid fixation on imminent risks and gains, he overlooked victims' kin. Notably, he neglected that Marcus Devo and Samuel Rochelle left young relations who would uncover truths and devote a decade to crafting revenge so intricate and ruinous that death would pale beside their designs. Philippe Devo was 22 at his brother Marcus's slaying. Unlike elder DeVos favoring quick gains over strategy, Philippe wielded a shrewd intellect rendering him deadlier than Aldrich conceived. As Marcus's confidant and shadow manager, Philippe kept meticulous logs of Delta transactions, coded books on illegal slaves, forbidden route manifests, and incriminating bribes to officials. Vital too, Philippe distrusted Jeremiah Aldrich. The Kentuckian's zeal for trade's cruelest facet seemed excessive, even for flesh dealers. He probed Aldrich's past months' pre-murders, unearthing history inconsistencies and fiscal oddities hinting motives beyond avarice. Upon Marcus's death news at the family estate, Philippe's response was not sorrow but icy wrath. The official tale rang false to intimates. Marcus, money-desperate yet prudent, avoided violent clashes with Samuel Rochelle. Rochelle, rough seafarer but negotiator, shunned blade disputes. Most revealing, Aldrich's recount included outdated money details relocated weeks prior. Days post-funeral, Philippe launched his probe into warehouse killings. Leveraging brothers' contacts, he queried dockers, scanned manifests, bribed police for evidence review. Findings affirmed suspicions, staged scene, paid liars, overlooked or destroyed proofs. Key, Aldrich accessed slain partners' finances hours post-death, implying premeditation contradicting bystander claim. Concurrently, Henry Rochelle pursued from financial vantage. At 24, Samuel's son merged father's sea ties with legal business schooling, adept at tracing murder's monetary trails. Henry's years in New Orleans banks and shipping built clerk-manager bonds for info Philippe's blunt method might overlook. Henry's probe exposed Aldrich's theft scale. Via bank logs, manifests, transfers, he charted looting of Delta assets. Henry tallied over $60,000 pilfered in cash, land, investments, from years of illicit profits on enslaved suffering. Henry's peril lay in grasping Louisiana's fiscal legal mechanics. Unlike Philippe's evidence focus, Henry saw wielding Aldrich's greed against him superior. Foregoing corrupt courts' swift justice, Henry plotted eroding Aldrich's economic base, rendering him ripe for inflicted betrayal and violence. The youths met first in autumn 1844, over a year post-murders, at a secluded French Quarter eatery where Philippe shared proofs with Henri for aligned probes. Neither anticipated how their skills meshed or how vengeance obsession would dominate their next decade. By spring 1845, Philippe Devo and Henri Rochelle evolved solo justice pursuits into a refined, perilous plot, demolishing Jeremiah Aldrich via his own tactics, betrayal, fiscal tampering, veiled violence. But contrasting Aldrich's rash savagery, theirs would be precise, enduring, exhaustively ruinous. Their plan's initial stage targeted infiltrating Aldrich's circles. Philippe, via family remnants in society, attended clubs, rallies, galas where Aldrich cemented respectability. Aim, observe habits, flaws, fiscal weaknesses, not direct clash. Philippe's charm mirrored his brother's. Soon he became Aldrich's mild acquaintance, trusty for drinks, insignificant as threat. Meanwhile, Henri traced Aldrich's empire via banking ties. He found wealth rested on hazardous stakes, loans, ventures yielding quick gains but lasting debts. Crucially, Henry uncovered Aldrich's gambling vice, squandering thousands in poker, races, funded by frantic borrows on crop futures. The habit offered ideal breach for reprisal. By 1848, Henri joined First National Bank of New Orleans, holder of Willowbrook's chief mortgage. Thence, he tweaked Aldrich's credit, steeper rates on renewals, schedules straining cash at planting peaks, nudging toward desperation ripe for control. Concurrently, Philippe befriended New Orleans' infamous gamblers running lofty games. Via bribes, favors, he secured Aldrich invites to escalating stakes where cohorts ensured crushing losses. Their methods elegance, endurance and nuance. Eschewing abrupt violence or clash, they eroded fiscal pillars upholding his status and ego. Each due loan bred tension. Each gambling defeat amplified despair, each botched quick cash scheme edged him nearer ruin, priming for their chosen endgame. By 1851, outcomes emerged. Aldrich's debts neared $30,000, interest devoured profits. He sold land parcels for losses, elite whispers claimed Willowbrook's dire straits. Aldrich's temperament frayed under pressure, irritable, distrustful, frantic for income. Yet Philippe and Henri sought beyond fiscal collapse. Their aim, inflict terror and shame mirroring victims' final horrors. Make him grasp his prosperity's blood basis, respectability's facade, justice's arrival despite his cunning brutality. Revenge's climax demanded thrusting Aldrich past desperation into inescapable terms, degrading or lethal. They required him vital long enough to savor vengeance's intricacy. Henri devised exploiting Aldrich's enslaved as downfall tools. Planters dreaded revolts, fear manipulable by master-slave insight masters. But avoiding real uprising, risky, ethical, they opted subtlety. Use forced slave marriage for supreme shame, obliterating status while legally binding him. Celeste's choice for Aldrich's ultimate debasement wasn't haphazard. Philippe and Henri scrutinized Willowbrook's inhabitants months, seeking one whose union maximized societal harm, ensured control over fate. Celeste fit ideally, for depths beyond looks or rank. At 38, sizable indeed, but size secondary to Philippe and Henri. Her value, intellect, survival loyalty, profound Aldrich hatred. Unlike many masking emotions in obedience, Celeste openly scorned her owner. She cooked capably sans gripe, but keen eyes saw fury smoldering near Aldrich. Hatred rooted deep. Bought in 1847 from Mississippi failure, Celeste parted from husband, 3 kids sold diversely. Separation needless, Aldrich could afford family, but took only her as cook, scorning extra burdens. Her plea for youngest daughter drew laughter, plantation, not orphanage. 7 years, she endured crafting feasts for family destroyer, subsisting scraps. She heard success tales, knowing wealth from theft, murders. Cleaned bloodied garb from nocturnal jaunts, watched him incinerate docks amid fiscal woes. Crucially, Celeste amassed Aldrich intel, routines, habits, ailments, paranoia. Foods favored, stomach meds, frequented rooms. This made her ideal ally for harm or control, vital to Philippe and Henri's scheme. Approaching Celeste demanded care. Direct contact risky, suspicious. They employed go-betweens, free-colored market folk with plantation visit pretexts. Gradually messaged Celeste, trading coin for Aldrich habits info. Discoveries surpassed hopes. Celeste not only knew vulnerabilities but waged subtle mind war years, oversalting food for gut woes, accidental breaks of favorites, rumor spreading on debts, sales. Actions covert, deniable, stoking paranoia sans proof. Upon revealing identities, plans, Celeste committed instantly, anything to ruin family ruiner, relatives killer. Sole demand, freedom, Canada passage for child reunion. Philippe and Henri consented, seeing not tool but aligned partner in justice. Scheme's endgame coalesced over months' coordination. Aldrich driven to ruin via rigged losses, called debts, ripe for unrefusable offer, wed Celeste or die via creditors. Union wreck status, grants them property access via wife control. Chiefly, positions Celeste to poison gradually, mirroring victim's agony. But needed, timing. Collapse must align with isolation, no aid from law or allies. Chance arose early 1854, Henri learned Aldrich's New Orleans high-stakes tourney for foreclosure salvation. Ideal trap spring, desperation accepts any salvage, however debasing. Aldrich's doom venue, waterfront converted warehouse for city's desperate, hazardous gamblers. February 1854 eve of arrival, humid, oppressive, river fog muffling sounds, blurring real from dread. Aldrich bore satchel of $8,000, scraped from slave, gear, property sales, last bid to satisfy lenders, preserve estate. Unbeknownst, Philippe and Henri orchestrated months, ensuring table foes colluded to strip remnants. Game, 5-card stud, $500 plus escalating stakes. Aldrich saw early wins, fostering hope. But as bets swelled, liquor flowed, recklessness surged from despair, feigned confidence. By midnight, half stake gone, he persisted with last-chance fervor. Per Philippe's script, foes granted wins to retain him, then pressured till fortunes wagered on cards. Climactic hand post, 2 a.m., fog dense, lamps dim. Aldrich's visible kings promised full house. Certain of recovery, he shoved $3,000 remnant. But foes held superior, coordinated for bankrupting pot, debts insurmountable. Kings fell to strangers full house, winnings claimed with predestined calm. As ruin dawned, Aldrich froze at bare table. Players gone, save winning stranger eyeing him specimen-like. Silence broke, slight French accent, Mr. Aldrich, discuss your debts. Gentlemen here represent interests patient with your woes. But patience, like fortune, expires. Then Philippe emerged from shadows, gaslight etching Marcus resemblance. Aldrich iced, recognizing features from betrayal's gaze 11 years prior. You appear ghost-struck, Jeremiah, Philippe advanced predatorily. Perhaps you are. I'm Philippe Devo, you knew my brother Marcus intimately. Last to see him breathe, yes. Warehouse chilled despite humidity. Aldrich trembled, grasping not chance game but decade-honed snare of precision, boundless loathing. Henri appeared opposite, encircling accusers. Father Samuel deemed you clever, Mr. Aldrich. Clever for slaying two, thieving labors, but not for foreseeing sons recall tales, never forgive killers. Silence save river horns in fog. Aldrich immobile, mind fleeing escapes, none. Alone with decade planners, ruin ensured no searches if vanished. Philippe sat opposite deliberately. We know all, Jeremiah. Delta trading, illicit trades. Warehouse murders. Forged docks, bribed liars, theft of their builds. Chiefly, 11 years on blood money, planter facade on corpses. Henri spread folder docs like trial proofs. Copies of post-1843 transactions, Mr. Aldrich. Bank lootings. Asset grabs from estates. Letters to officials now prioritizing self over you. Evidence irrefutable, authentic. Aldrich saw thought-destroyed docs. Bribed acquisitions, witness oaths silent till now. Case not only damned him but Louisiana notables laundering his thefts. Now, Philippe proceeded, our intent with this. Federal handover, prosecute you, helpers. Or exposed to New Orleans, false life on associates' murders. Either yields death, likely with prelude discomfort. Aldrich whispered voice found. What want? Money, I can obtain. Plantation worthless, Henri cut. We hold mortgage, recall. Acquired debts years. Every loan, gamble, float, all ours. Bargain soul with life. Frankly, uninterested preserving that. Room colder as words sank. Not bankrupt, utterly merciful dependent. Built empire stripped by slain sons. Yet mind resisted death's inevitability. One option exists, Philippe mocked thoughtfully. Permitting breath a while, demanding dignity sacrifice. Public nature acknowledgement, submission demo. Henri smiled coldly, plan culmination glee. Marry your slave, Jeremiah, public, legal, eternal. Stand before God, society, wed cook Celeste as lawful spouse. Cohabit, bed share, present to neighbors as property wed man. Proposition grotesque, beyond antebellum bounds, Aldrich unprocessed initially. White slave union, social suicide, annihilation, humiliation death merciful beside. Insane, Aldrich breathed. No one, impossible. No cleric performs. No court acknowledges. Arrangements done, Philippe smooth. Natchitoches minister, gambling debt, agrees legal right, witnessed, filed. Courts, Louisiana binds executed marriages, circumstances notwithstanding. Legally wed Celeste, rights obligations. Henri leaned, eyes malice glinting. Arrangements elegance, Mr. Aldrich, choice. Refuse, face crime consequences, more pain imagined. Or take brief shame for degraded life. Silence as Aldrich grappled impossibility. Death final, preserves reputation vestige, gambler failure, not murderer known. Celeste wed destroys identity, alive for enduring torment. Duration, asked. Agreeing, how long? Philippe Henri glanced, shared triumph. Your natural span, Mr. Aldrich, sacred bond. Though age, health suggest not prolonged as hoped. Implication chilling, no tempt shame, freedom, slow death as marriage, spirit torture pre-body. Alternative, warehouse execution, river dump. Worse than planned. Just as horrors peak in this Louisiana warehouse, intensity mounts. If chills run through you, share with dark mystery fans. Like to back our work? Subscribe for more. Let's uncover what follows. After seeming hours, likely minutes, Aldrich met tormentor's gaze. Agreeing marriage, guarantee no kill anyway. None, Henri honest brutal. But word, death pleasanter than original. View marriage as behavior test. Compliance kind rewarded. Resistance creative punished. Philippe drew pocket doc, placed by crimes proofs. Marriage pact, prepared, sign ready. Ceremony tomorrow eve Willowbrook, neighbors associates invited witness voluntary Celeste union. Told religious awakening, Christian charity elevating slave to wife. Ultimate shame, portray choice voluntary, benevolent, not coerced debasement. Neighbors deem eccentric, mad, but self-chosen. None suspect coercion by vengeful sons, unknown divorcial existences. Aldrich grasped shaking doc, terms stark, legal wed Celeste, spousal cohabit provide. Exchange, creditors delay collection, oversee Willowbrook ops. Signing life destroyer, Aldrich diluted possible post-compliance escape, authority appeal, state flee, legal void. But tormentor's eyes gleamed satisfaction, decade planned, every flight foreseen. Family welcome, brother-in-law, Philippe gathered signed. Tomorrow's ceremony. Dress fittingly. March 15, 1854 morn dawned gray oppressive, rain threat clouds, humid swamp-rot wind. Aldrich sleepless post New Orleans, pacing study, eyeing life-ending contract. Celeste intermediary informed, feigned shock at Aldrich's breakfast stammer explain, finances, obligations. She attended patiently, parent-to-child confessor. Post-pathetic tale, nodded, yes, Master Aldrich, comprehend. Ceremony prepare self. Voices calm terrified over anger, hinted prep, coordination pre-forced consent. Watching kitchen efficiency, last master-slave meal, Aldrich grasped tormentor's thoroughness exceeded initial grasp. Day long, neighbors acquaintances arrived Willowbrook, drawn Aldrich name invites by Philippe Henry. Guests informed witnessing Christian charity, neighbor honoring faithful servant via marriage protection dignity. Most expected jest or stress madness proof. Found organized wedding, decor, treats, committed seeming groom. Aldrich finest attired per Philippe, performed desperately, survival hinged conviction. Question choice, echoed conversion duty, sincere enough acceptance as stressed eccentricity. Celeste gown simple elegant, provided. At 38, sizable, but dignified composure impressed skeptics. Seemed pleased, gracious smiling, thanking for life's key day witness. Natchitoches minister efficient, vows traditional, responses solicited. At objection call, guests fidgeted, none challenged apparent consensual adult union. Aldrich's vows barely audible front row, Celeste's firm confident. Promised love honor obey convincingly, near normalizing owner-slave marriages. Disturbing peak, pronounced wed, kiss instruct. Aldrich paled leaning, near collapse. Celeste gentled him, tiptoe meet chaste kiss sealing union, launching end destruction. Guests left head shaking bewilderment. Aldrich alone with wife in once success house. Structure alien threatening, ceremony altered rooms unbelonging. Celeste navigated confidently, dynamic shifted. Rearranged items authoritatively, emphasizing mistress role. Aldrich protest met hatred stare years built, married now, Jeremiah. Husband-wife, partners. Time act accordingly, yes. First night, shared bed one sanctuary, Aldrich grasped punishment sophistication over death. Daily powerlessness reminder, surrounded by crime knower deserver. Each meal, word, affection gesture, calculated blood theft life recall. But horror deepened. Marriage not revenge apex, mere start methodical destruction, warehouse mercy beside. Marriage's initial month deceptively normal, Celeste role settled, impressing sparse neighbors. Staff managed firmly, visitors entertained, pretenses upheld for vestige respectability. Outsiders, union functional as any Louisiana. But Aldrich noted routine shifts unease breeding. Breakfast coffee bitter aftertaste unidentified. Same beans methods years, yet nauseating tiring post-meals. Headaches, dizziness worsened wife proximity. Initially blamed stress, mercy dependence toll. But weeks, decline, suspected deliberate. Suspicions affirmed via Dr. Hamilton Warren, Willowbrook physician, post-collapse business meet. Exam, chronic poison symptoms, digestive nervous erosion. Serious condition, Mr. Aldrich, Warren packed tools. Symptoms arsenic-like, gradual buildup. Months exposure, weakness, gut issues, neurodecline. Sans treatment, source removal, fatal invariably. Diagnosis confirmed wife intent fears. Celeste dosing measured, food drink mixed, slow natural seeming death. Confront pointless dangerous. Protected legally wife, innocence apparent, Philippe Henry ties controlling existence. Accuse, deny, tormentors arrange violent paranoid punish. Instead, precautions, secret self-meals, personal ingredients, hidden utensils. Avoided Celeste preps, well water sole access. Slept locked guest room, no unconscious dosing chance. Measures symptom relieved temporarily, but bred issues exposing paranoia. Visitors noted gauntness, nerves, eat-drink reluctance wife near. Parish gossip, Aldrich instability, unusual marriage stress. Celeste mastered psychological role. Guest concerns met devoted wife worry for ailing spouse. Prepared meals refused, offered declined drink suspiciously, behaved efforts rejected by reality-losing man. Approach genius, defensive acts paranoid delusional, not threat response. Cooking refusal, irrational fear, not caution. Secretive mistrust, breakdown proof, not murder evidence. Devastating, explanations to warn associates dismissed as stress humiliation ravings. None believed ex-slave capable sophisticated plot, poison access admin. By 1854 late spring, Aldrich nightmare trapped, accurate wife murder grasp twisted as instability proof. Legally bound to slow killer. Protection help attempts, mind loss evidence. But torment continued. Philippe Henri designed not physical alone, isolation, relation demolition. Die solitary, friendless, justice convinced despite planning. Situation truth cruel revealed at Celeste orchestrated dinner, 3-month anniversary. Invited neighbors, Warren, society holdouts cordial despite marriage oddity. Aldrich prepped paranoid, create secret, avoid wife preps. Guests arrive, Celeste special surprise announce. Cellar-aged wine pre-marriage, symbolic future toast open. Presented ceremonially, opened guest view untampered, poured cleaned glasses visible. Celeste marriage toast, years more. Aldrich unable refuse sands insane appear. Raising glass, caught wife's eyes, affection mask slip, victory satisfaction imminent. Too late avoid, hoped poison quick, suffering spared. Affects minutes post, cramps severe, breath labored, throat chest burn. Table collapse, gasping clutching, guests deemed final breakdown months building. Warren examined, hampered Celeste's hysterical interference. Threw self over, sobbing save please, blocking treatment. Performance convincing, guests comforted her over emergency aid. But dying floor, Celeste ear whispered conspiracy scope. Marcus Devo cousin mine, Jeremiah. Samuel Rochelle marriage uncle. Worked Philippe Henri since 45, awaiting die watch slow painful alone like them. Revelation, wife not tool, family participant, hatred personal. Months living with immediate loather, not coerced. Each meal, talk, tranquility, performance suffering max, suspicion min, vision darkening, breath labored, heard Celeste guest performance, Warren try harder, God spare beloved, world collapse loss. Guests comfort support, convinced accident, not 11-year revenge end. Jeremiah Aldrich perished 9:47 p.m. June 18, 1854, amid neighbors deeming stroke heart from instability decline. Warren official, natural, nervous exhaustion. Satisfied all save Philippe Henri, knowing exact cause why. Funeral attended, Celeste widow convincing, ladies' aid offer mourning manage Willowbrook. None suspected graveside tears celebrated history's elaborate murder. But story persisted. Philippe Henri contingencies planned, property, widow fate. Celeste heir inherited Willowbrook, debts. Reminded, owed them via institutions. Month post, signed transfer for debt forgiveness. Then vanished Louisiana, northbound presumably, funds free life start history unknown. Aldrich death records, transfer, no authority suspicion, pre-Civil War concerns pressing. Owner-slave wed, natural death, local history footnote, stress-eccentric example. But certain families whispered alternate, 11-year conspiracy patient elaborate, justice matched crime suffering duration. Warning, partner betrayal perils, especially intelligent ruthless kin decade planning perfect revenge. Philippe Devo, Henri Rochelle achieved remarkable antebellum, prosecuted untouchable murder, imposed unsanctioned sentence, evidence-free. Success, patience, smarts, resources, social legal function grasp. Willowbrook post-death, final plan proof. Not sold profit, converted freed slave refuge, escaped haven, horrifying to human trafficker fortune builder. Elite entertaining house, underground railroad station, Freedom Aid North Canada. Transformation symbolic practical, authorities invisible. Legitimate businesses cover unusual ops, businessmen reps deflect queries. Enemy property turned against institution enriching him, legacy weapon opposing representation. But remarkable, Aldrich history erasure complete. Unlike conventional victims casualty recognized, systematically existence eliminated. Wealth redistributed victims kin. Property values contradicted. Reputation self-destroyed, not post-reveal. Death manner, remembered failed owner poor decisions unwise wed. No monuments, lineage, record accomplishments crimes. Deleted Louisiana history as non-existent. Mystery illustrates justice sometimes extra-legal, especially systems shielding powerful over vulnerable. Your thoughts on story? All revealed belief. Comment below. Enjoyed tale, want horror mysteries more? Subscribe, bell hit, share mystery lover. Next video see you.